Not kind of. I'm a micromanager. Take this leg, cross, pull back. Can you now take the other leg and step the other direction, right? Cross, pull back, cross, alternate. It's just your rhythmic limbering. Where does this fall into? Um, how does this movement get incorporated into other things? If you're dancing, Jen's got to know some dance that this actually is a step. If you're playing tennis, right? Certainly if you're on the pickleball court, right? And this is just a drill of rhythmic limbering step. If you were actually doing a court sport, it wouldn't look so like floaty. It would be a little more like snap on the ends of it. 5, push, 4. But I thought that's a really neat experiment to run, marching feet. When we encounter like a pushback energy from somebody that may, for me, I internalize people's energy. Give me a little tap out. And I go to the place of the negative energy is the negative feedback or something that I feel that's a negative off of somebody plays out into me feeling like that energy represents that somehow I'm not enough. It's very weird, right? But it's a test, switch legs. It's a test of your own skill to redirect energy and try to make a good energy from it. And so when I show up and play pickleball, it really is just a game for me, alternating sides, a game beyond what's happening with me and strategy on actually technique. It allows me to actually, I don't want to say manipulate people, but for me to change a dynamic that then helps somebody else feel better about connecting, right, with me. Push, push. This is all low impact, okay? We haven't started the toning part, just low impact. And you guys might already have a handle on it. It might be like I'm saying something to you and you're like, yeah, girl, we figured that out a long time ago. It's taken me a long time to push back 4 of them, 4 each leg. And then you're going to go back to the side steps. Ready? One more. Back to the side steps. Push it out. 4 of them. Now I can't tell the story because I have to count. Give me one more each side. Push back, drop it down to 2 each leg. All right, get ready. Side step push, 2 of them each leg. Back push 1, side push 1. Back push 1. This is going to be your last one to the side. And march it out. Take a deep breath into a little bit of our stretch now. Release the arms. Okay. What I want you to do is just start working one leg nice and wide. Of course, both legs are going to get wide. But if you can wiggle your feet a little bit and really feel like your toes are pointed in, your feet are on the same line, toes are pointed in. And then if you had a mirror, this would be what you get to see. Are your legs slightly collapsing, or can you stiffen up the legs and try to roll your knees out and pull your buns through, right? Keep trying to roll the kneecaps out because that's going to shift the weight in the foot. All right. Your hands can be at your hips. The palms can be pressing along the backside of your hip line. This is where I'm going to stay. Palms, fingertips down, palms pressing into the hip region. Squeeze the buns. Try to pull the knees apart from each other. Look up, shoulders out of the ears. Bow the body back, get this phenomenal stretch. Don't lose your balance and don't close your eyes. As you come out of it, your head and neck should be the first part of you that adjusts to take the tension. And now keep your body line, right? Still with the knees pulling apart. You can look at your legs and watch yourself swivel that part, and it transfers all the way down to your ankles. So roll the knees out, lengthen your spine into tabletop. Say hello to your little hamstrings. Keep going down, keep going down. And at some point, let the arms release down. Let the top of your head hang heavy towards the floor. Keep trying to pull the kneecaps away from each other. And here, without picking up your head, looking at the screen, I just want you to start getting that spine back into its stiff, rigid position. So my arms are long and my fingertips are just grazing the floor and my head is pulled back so that my neck is relative to the rest of the spine. And now flex your quadriceps. Use your strong parts to pull yourself up without going to C curve. Pull it up, pull it up, pull it up, pull it up. Put your hands back. Press the hips forward. Drawing the shoulders out of the ears, knees pulling apart. Reset your head first and ease out of it. Whew. Release, relax. Okay. So if you have your book, even though I forgot to prep you all for what you were going to be doing today, hopefully you've got a book handy. Let's get into that. We did not do much balance work yesterday. So today we're going to do some of that. Okay. And getting back, as you start setting yourself up, you can keep your arms up, right? Or one arm up, but you just don't know which side the book might slide off of. But if you're pretty confident, put the arms down, and I want you to just walk around your space. This is nothing new. I want your steps to be really slow. And I want you to feel like when your toes hit the floor, like you're reaching your leg a little bit further, and then you're trying to like sneak up, right? And you're going to be walking a circle or walking a straight line, however much space you have. Nice and slow though. Try to spend as much time from your right leg to your left leg. And that might not make any sense to you, but I'll explain it. And I don't mean that you can't understand that. I think that sometimes we don't identify that we shorten our stride on one leg, and so we have a slightly off set gait. And so if we could time it, we could. If you're using your imaginary timer, right? Can you spin like super slow? It's almost like you're suspending yourself just before the other foot, the trailing foot, gets ready to leave the floor. You load the front leg for that moment and you try to just hang out there for a second before you take the next step. Push, squeeze the buns, and now relax your body. I want you to just take a walk. We're still going to go in a circle. When I get to this open space, I'm going to turn myself around and I'm going to take my circle the other way. So now, instead of allowing your feet to be toe loading, right, into that light little step, I want you to intentionally heel strike, right? So the leg's going to need to be stiff. The stride will actually shorten a little bit, but fully extend the leg. Heel strike, roll to the toe. Heel strike, roll to the toe. And once we get one full loop around here, we're going to do some of our reverse walking. And now walk it off, get to your space. I'm going to just walk backwards towards the camera. You do not have to walk your feet in a straight line, but if they want to go there and you feel like you can control that, then do. And when we take off and walk forward, which is right now, I want you to walk a little faster. Squeeze the buns. Here we go. Stop and walk backwards. All right. So are you still in balance mode? Squeeze the buns, get ready, take off, forward walk. How you doing holding the book? Pause, walk backwards. So I don't want to hold you back. If you can walk backwards with more speed, then do. Forward walk, go faster. Keep going fast. Work around your space. Work around your space. How do you keep your book on top of you? How do you keep your neck neutral? And relax. Take that off. Maybe that doesn't seem like much to you. It's a it always feels like an experiment to me because I know that just because my body was able to do it one day doesn't mean that I'm going to be able to execute it super cleanly the next. All right, with chair, you will also, so we're doing squats. If you know you need to build up your sit base, get your extra pillow. I want you to have something that you're squeezing between your knees. So I'm going to use my yoga block today. As far as how do you determine your foot position, you just take your object, right? You want your feet to be fairly close to your object. So, and then pull that thing up to your knees, right? Here's an interesting thing about squats. So often I'll get people set up like this, and then as soon as they go to initiate that first lift, they'll actually slide their feet back a little bit. No, you are going to get into what feels like your nice, clean, not quite a 90, right? So your feet can't be a 90 or you'll feel like you can't get out of the chair. But I don't want you to pull your feet back too tightly or that's a cheat mode. So there is a fine line between heel loaded, your weight displaced, squeeze the pad, up you go. When I've had clients that have gone through, say, knee rehab and hip issues, and then they've been working with a physical therapist, and then they get released to me, and say we're in the gym, and we're able to do leg press and stuff like that. One of the things that is part of the training tool is the squeezing of the knees together so that this doesn't happen, right? Or that. Now, we don't actually want the knees to collapse all the way. I mean, there is a place for that, but we're just trying to get this tracking. We're going to do one new move today that we normally do standing, but we normally do it side lying, a clamshell, but today we're going to do it standing, and it's going to happen immediately after this, okay? There's so many places to go with clamshell. And now can you pick up speed? Right? Here we go. So I like my arms to mimic my legs. Bent arms, straight arms. Bent arms, straight arms. 5, keep squeezing. 4, if you're having pain anywhere, just walk away. 3, right? 2, last one, stay up. So here we are. You don't have to move. You can just set your thing down in your chair. Balance may become the issue. Okay, so you are going to single leg load, and the other leg, you are going to push it back. And hopefully, if you can't clear your object, then just scoot yourself a little forward. But the leg is not just coming to the side, it's actually driving back on an angle. And this is a complex movement here. Single leg stance, right? Push back, push back, push back, push back, squeeze down. If it becomes too intense on your stance leg, you can rise up a little bit, but then you might feel like you've got a little too much wiggle right? If the wiggle is you cannot get a handle on it, then rotate yourself. Use the edge of your chair, right? So just like that, you've got options. The key is when this leg is tracking and pushing back on an angle, to not let your front leg go, I can't even do it, like, to not let your front leg go kitty wampus in, because then you've lost your stability. So this knee is actually pressing out in order to offset the other leg moving. Here we go. It should be on fire. 4, counting down. 3. We don't always have to keep things scaled back. 2, inhale, push, 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 walk it off. Okay, so your leg number 1 was very telling. If you really fought that, set yourself up so you have hand support, right? Get your working stability leg, right? Anchored. Chest up in the slight S, right? Pull your neck back and push the leg. Don't just open it to the side. Drive it back and then a little sweep. And using your chair does not lessen the glute work, okay? It just increases your the full body experience if you're not using the chair, okay? Because of how much more you have to focus on not letting your stance, leg, knee slide in and follow the pushing back leg, right? 2 opposing movements. Inhale down, exhale, push, push, push. And that little muscle right there is so very important. Why do we do clamshells? Multitude of reasons. The one glaring reason that may not be on your radar is, and when we come out of it, I'll show you, give me 4 more. 4, right? Inhale down, maybe your ankle, right? Those muscles down in your foot and the calf and the ankle on your stance leg are really fatiguing. This is a good thing. Do 1 more. Push, push, push it out, walk it around. So you don't have to be a runner to experience, it's called IT band syndrome. So you have this iliotibial band that runs laterally from the hip and down, just connecting below the knee. So often there's a pain in the outer aspect of the knee. And I'm not here to diagnose, I'm just here to tell you that we can have pain where sometimes we think that we can stretch the pain away, but really we have to stretch and stretch the area and strengthen other areas to do their job properly to support our body. So that's what the clamshell does. Keeping your little disc or whatever you're using going into our calf raises. You can set yourself up again right next to your chair if you need it. I'm going to not use the chair and I'll face you. Okay, so this is going down here. It's going all the way to the floor so that your ankles are squeezing your object. Okay, zip and tuck. Calf raises. When you come up and down, your whatever you're holding may shift a little bit. So be prepared, you know, to tip it back if you need to, because it will rock forward as you pull up and press through. What I've noticed about the mic, the couple little workouts that I've used it for and played it back, I feel like it makes me sound like I have a lisp or that I have like a retainer in my mouth. So I don't. That's just the way I sound. Pull it up, pull it up, pull it up, squeeze. The purpose of using your little gadget between your ankles is to train your big toes to load. You see, if your ankle bones are not squeezing against whatever you have down there, then your weight in your feet is wrong. Pull it up, pull it up, pull it up. And we're just going to hang out here. Can you take your zip action? Belly, ribs, right? And now from right here, can you do just little extra pulses? Pulse, pulse. 5, 4, 3, 2, release, relax. Set that off to the side. Hip extension. You'll need something for your hands. I have to tell you, this is one of my favorite movements, and we don't always get it in every, Tuesday and Thursday low impact and toning class. I try to give you some version of it. Sometimes we're laying down on the floor, but your hands, your arms are not heavily loaded, but they're loaded enough for you to feel like you don't have to fight your balance. And how your foot comes down and tracks back down to the floor I want you to put your focus on as the leg comes down, set the foot with thought that you want it to be tracking straight ahead. All right. And now, as you lift the other leg, work the leg up as if you are pigeon-toed on that leg and down. If you will hold your up for a minute, pigeon toe the foot, re-straighten that high leg. If we were to snap a picture of you in your mind's eye, bring the leg down, do the other one. So if we could go click on the picture and you think you're really internally rotated with that leg, drop the head down enough so you can see your foot. And you'll find that the foot is barely at its straight line. Bring the leg down, reset the neck, pull the leg up, pause, get it nice and long, internally rotate it. Go ahead and break the line of that head so that you can look at your foot to make sure that you really are getting it internally rotated, and bring the head back up. So that's the care I want you to use. If you don't internally rotate the foot on the lifting leg, then your hips are going to be inclined to open up towards the ceiling. And this is where things go wrong. We want to square and lengthen our parts and down. And the work in the low back and the glutes and the hamstring, it's happening. So on this leg raise, hold it up, bend the leg, soften your stance leg, glide your shoulders out of the ears, try to pull your knee on your lifted leg in, and now push the foot towards the ceiling. Get out of a very heavy hand load, right? So now you're using your chair, but you're not bearing down into it. Press, try to keep pulling your knee in while you lift the foot. And 5, 4, 3, 2, switch legs. You only have about 10 reps and then we're up. Bend the leg, press it up, take the leg that you're standing on, soften it because it will help you have some driving power on the high leg. Pull the knee in and then lift. Here we go. Shoulders out of the ears. If your head is hanging and the head and the shoulders are close to the chair, right? You don't have your long spine, tabletop back going. And 5, 4, 3, 2, release and relax. So instead of doing weighted deadlifts today, we just did that. Come out of it. You can move your chair or move your chair into the center of your space. You're just going to be using your gadget here as your obstacle because we're practicing clearing the chair and changing our direction, right? So use your chair in quarter turns, right? Turn, give your few steps, clear the edge, turn. And now I've made one full sweep around my chair. So I'm going to walk forward. My right hand, right? I'm going to quarter turn right, walk, 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 quarter turn right, because we do have a side that tends to be dominant, quarter turn right, and you should now have made another circle around your chair. So now use your left hand, walk backwards or whatever hand you're going, but I want you to now quarter turn the other direction, right? So I'm walking backwards, quarter turning to the left, walking forward, quarter turning. Because if you're not careful, you will direct yourself into the same rotation every single time you go around your chair. Forward walk, right rotation, right rotation, right rotation, right rotation. Do one last one. Back it up. Left rotation. Turn left. Turn left. And the reason why I have my hand up, right, is because I too find that I will often rotate. Even though I'm switching directions of working around the chair, I will keep my rotation being one side dominant. Sit yourself back down. We're going to use our chair for a little bit of ab work. You have options. You can just use the back of your chair as your reference, right? So as soon as you go into C curve, right, the chin actually does the little bit of tuck, and then you pull up to S, chin draws, the middle body hollows out, right? If you're somebody that really struggles with the transition of back to up because you have a sensitive spot, if that's you, then don't come up. Get yourself wiggled in to your loaded spot that you can control and stay there. If you have what feels like weakness and you can't hold your contraction back here, then you're going to keep floating up and back. Okay. So stay with me. If you can hold the contraction, stay back. And now take and do this little twist. So I've given you options. You can just stay back, no twist. You can rock up and back, no twist, or you stay back and twist. Maybe you pick a leg up, right? In an alternating pattern, push, pull, push, pull, push, pull. 5. Anytime you need to get out of it, sit up. 4. If you're feeling it in your back, then you're not hollowed out really. 2 things. Last one, come up. Abs and back, those 2 components of your body, if you're not strong enough to hold your position, you will feel your back. It's kind of hard to decipher. Are you in the wrong position or are you just not strong enough? So over time, as time goes by, you should not feel your ab work in your back. That is the first indicator that your form is wrong, right? So get yourself up and we're just going to slide. Even if you don't have a chair leg or something that gives you a hand reference, just try not to reach to the floor, but just take a side to side and you'll feel like you're kind of getting a stretch. But really, since we're going fairly quick and we're not stopping on the bottom, we're actually working our obliques. Here we go. We are not in C curve, okay? We are in full S sit, push down, pull up. Maybe you want to get more arm. Maybe your arm comfortably will slide up your side body. Okay. Give me 5 and 4. And then we're going to get our feet up and get the heart rate going. 3, 2, release, relax. Okay, move your chair out of your space. When we go to the floor, we are going to do bridges using our chair. I actually I'm going to want us to go into a supported like back bend using our chair too. So if you're running, jump rope, hula hoop, right? I'm going to throw my jump rope into the equation. So after pickleball yesterday, I don't know, I probably played because there were just enough people to keep 2 courts going. So there were 8 people and we literally just got to keep rotating in, which was quite nice. I haven't been able to play without stopping for a while. You know, after about 4 or 5 games though, I was hot and I was not tired, but I was hot. And my good sense of reason was telling me, leave while you still feel good. That really is my motto. Even though I don't always implement it, it's something that I do strive towards. 5 more of whatever you're doing and cut. So I got asked to play another game and I'm like, no. So I walk away. And then I, because the park is so beautiful, grab your light weights, think bicep curls, right? Bicep curl into shoulder press. So get your weight that will permit you to do both of those ranges of motion. However, shoulder press might not be your good move. So you have to decide, right? As soon as that arm starts going up, right? Are you finding that there's a resistance to the up? The shoulder press can be what's considered contraindicated, okay? If your shoulder girdles are rolled forward and you try to push up with them, I mean, I'm exaggerating because I can't really get mine to do it right, but if you can't get your shoulder girdles anchored, rounded back, pulled down, staying in the down position because the proper stabilizers are working, then when you go to push your arm up, it's starting from the wrong position. So even though you might get your arm up, the damage that you're doing along the way, it should not feel good or natural, right? But the body stature, right? Pushing and pulling, if everything feels good, then you're in full range of motion. I want your down arm to push down so that you can fire up your tricep. So if you had a rubber band and you were pressing and lengthening the rubber band so that you've got tension, that's what you want your arms to do. One is pushing, one's pushing and pulling. So think about push up, pull down, push up, pull down. 5 more. And if you need to just walk away or walk around with your weights, walking with your weights is considered the farmer's walk. It's still really good training. 3 more. 3, 2, release and relax. Set your weight down, go back to getting into quick feet, whether you're in light jog. I'm going to throw my hula hoop into the equation right now. So Jen told me that she got a weighted hoop. I don't know if you've ever seen the weighted hoops, but they come in, I don't know, I think it's 3 sections and they kind of like snap together, or not like snap, but they fit into each other. So it makes you can detach it and travel with it nice and easy. So she's going to be bringing her weighted hula hoop on the boat traveling and get her abs worked out. So I may try to find one because that would be pretty fun. Right, here we go. Push, pull, push, pull. If you don't have your real hula, then try to fake hula, right? Getting those hips going around, smacking the knees together, feet together. It makes it a little bit harder. But the weighted hoop, oh, almost lost it. The weighted hoop, when it comes around, if you've ever seen like those boxing movies, right? And they're doing their ab work and the trainer is standing there kind of punching in the abs. That's what that weighted hoop feels like. It feels like you're taking a hit every single time it comes around, which we like relax. Knowing that, who would sign up for using the hoop? But there's something that makes you feel like you're getting stronger when that happens. Okay. We got to get those feet actually moving. Light jog, jumping jacks of some sort, right? Shake it out. We'll be going to the floor very, very soon. Before we hit the floor, we're going to be doing our supported chair bridge, 2 different versions of it. We're going to chair bridge and then try to work ourselves into our back body back bend, right? Supported. And then we'll be going to the floor for hamstring bridges. Okay, so if you take all the bounce out and you just tap out, this is 101. Just low impact, modified jumping jack. If you put a little bob in your heels, that already like makes you go, oh, okay, I'm charged and ready to go. That might be your version. If you add the arms, there's a little bit more, right? If you take both legs same time, right? We're still not at the full jack, but if you can, work with me. 10 of them, 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, relax. Grab your chair. Maybe a drink. Oh, so I finished playing pickleball yesterday, and I always take this huge beach towel with me because I'm in a park, and the kids area that they have, it's a rubberized mat, and it's not pieces. Like, it's really nice grounding. So I throw my towel out, and I probably do 20, or it was probably a solid 20, maybe even 30 minutes of stretch out. But because my body had gotten so warm, like, I need that just to bring my heart rate and like let my equilibrium settle again. And so of course I'm in the playground, and people are bringing their kids to the playground. So like the kids are running around on the jungle gym looking at this adult who's like laying down doing stretches. Like, I got the most perplexing looks from, the parents ignore me, and the kids are like, what's she doing? And nowadays, it's actually hard to be not friendly, but, to talk to children in the park, strangers, stranger danger. So I just sit there and try to mind my own business. Where are we going? I've got my lats on the chair. I've slid down enough so that when I bridge up, my head isn't going to be hitting any part of my chair. Okay, you do whatever you need to do with your arms. I'm going to let mine stay in this overhead reach. Okay, buns are tight. When we lower the hips, make sure you feel like you're in pelvic tilt. Okay, as the hips come down, the head's going to need to pull off the bench. And here's where you go, oh, then it's going to be more comfortable if you actually put a hand behind your head. I don't know how it's going to work for you. I just want to make sure that you go into pelvic tilt, right? Like, I'm already moving. I'm in pelvic tilt, and my pelvic tilt, as I get deeper into the pelvic tilt, the hips start rising, and then the head comes back. Inhale down, keep your pelvic tilt, let your head come off the chair so you're not straining your neck. Pelvic tilt deeper, right? Pull it up, pull it up, pull it up, pull it up, squeeze. Don't be in a rush with this one, right? And the difference of having your upper back supported is we're getting higher from a leverage standpoint. We're able to get a little more out of this movement than if we were starting on the floor. And we are going to do a floor version. Pelvic tilt, pull it up, pull it up, pull it up, pull it up, pull it up. Hold this one in the up position. So just like we do on the ball, can you keep the hips up and march your feet, right? Do whatever you need to do with your hands. If your hips drop down, you'll know it because you'll start feeling like you've got tension building up in your neck and shoulders. But with your body properly supported, your legs, your buns are working. And now, head comes up, shimmy yourself back, right? Coordinate your parts. Maybe once you get back a little bit, you roll out of it. Think about the primal movement pattern we've been working on, right? Which side is going to be your strong arm so that you can roll out of it, right? Help yourself up. Test the waters, pull the hips around, see how everything feels, squeeze your buns, work it the other way. And when you're ready, you're going to be using your chair for your supported back bend. It's a very similar move. The setup is just going to be that we've got less upper body, but I would start you again, okay? Laying back, abs are engaged. The great thing about this is that you don't have to keep going back, right? For me, I know that I can shimmy myself so that my shoulder blades are not connected with the chair. One hand is going to support my head, the other arm, right? Part of this is you having a very good awareness of what the object that you're laying on, like to make sure that you're safe, okay? So the body may fight it, build in, I call it stop points. Like at the first little bit of resistance that you feel, just hang out there, squeeze your buns. Make sure that, your neck is in the position that you don't feel like you're taxing it. It's supported, it's getting stretched, right? Adding the arm into the reach back changes your stretch. Squeezing of the buns. Be prepared. So as we come to get out of this, I don't want us to spend too much time here. Gently draw your chin to your chest. How do we get up? If your chin is to your chest and you have your backrest, maybe you're using your arms to your backrest, or maybe you're going, well, what about the primal movement pattern? You've got to raise the leg, roll yourself, right? I keep using the technical term, right? That's what these movements are considered, primal movement pattern, right? How quickly can we adapt, right? From having 4 support connectors, 2 hands, 2 feet, to 3 supporters or 2 supporters, right? Push up, you're done with your chair. A lot is required of your body when it's not your feet that are keeping you in a support base. That's why do you think you're so impressed when you see, oh, sorry, we're going to be doing our next set of bridges. You'll need your chair or your ball, right? Throw your mat down. You don't need your weights. You might need your stretch out strap. We do have plenty of time here though to get everything else done. So why is it, or how is it that we're so impressed when we see people able to do shoulder stands, headstands, like gymnastics? We have a point of reference of what we know our own body's ability is. And then when we see somebody kind of defy gravity through exercise and the control of their parts, it's a training, right? When did that training have to start in order for that person to be able to do that? And some people think that, oh, well, they started as a kid and that's why they've got that skill set. The body has that muscle memory towards being able to do that. I like to think that our bodies are adaptable and trainable. And so long as we can stave off injury, we have a huge potential to get stronger as we get older instead of weaker. So hunkering down, take your time. Since we're only going to be doing about 10 or 15 reps of this, if you feel like you just want to lay there and take a break, then do that. Get yourself nice and close to your chair. Your feet can be arches along the edge, or you can go heel the backs of those heels down. You determine it. And I would say that you probably don't need a towel or your pillow under your head for this one, because as soon as you lift your hips, your neck and shoulders are going to kind of slide into the right place. So if you find that you're looking back, then just in your down position, tuck your chin, try to get it set. All right, we're already at 3. 4, what I love about the chair is that at that first sign of the stop position, if you dig for the lift a little bit more, the body will respond, okay? Don't let the butt hit at all if you can keep it off the floor. Inhale down, exhale, push. You're already at like 7 or 8. Inhale down, exhale, push. So now keep the knees together. Don't let them separate. You're getting extra adductor work. Squeeze the buns on the up. We can't rely on the lift to be enough muscle activation. I want you to put your mind into your muscle and try to really squeeze your derriere and firmly press those knees together as you're driving the up. You should be looking at your chest and that whole like upper, middle, inner thigh. Maybe it feels good to run your hands around the back sides of your hips and like give them a little extra oomph, right? Down you go. You've got 3 more. Push it out, push it out, push it out. I didn't count per se, but I feel like we're close to the 15. Pull it up, squeeze the knees, pinch the derriere. Give me 1 more for good measure. Inhale down, exhale, drive it, exhale, 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 squeeze and release. Relax your back. Now, roll yourself. I don't know how much space you have. You may need to push your chair out of the way. I'm definitely going to move mine. I'm going to pick mine up though, so it doesn't make too much noise. But when I got out of the doing my stretches, right? So as I went into my stretch, the first stretch I started with when I got out of the pickleball was the 90-90 stretch, which is that one. And I feel like for those of us that play court sports, so often there's like a pain across the back side of one of the like SI joints, and it just depends on which side you favor. So come down on your back. So for me, I never worry about that little sensation that builds up because I know how to relieve that part of my body. And that is always a built-in stretch for when I get off the court. And I get a little adjustment and then I just carried on. But I felt like my body was so limber when I went into my stretches that I then practiced my half lotus again. And I almost got to full lotus on one side. So I just have to believe that through my persistence, one knee to chest, the other leg is out. Try to press that down leg to the floor and pull your tucking knee. Let it clear your body a little bit and see if you can get it pulled up higher. I'm going to keep with the belief that diligence will win and I will be able to do my half lotus Excuse me, lotus, switch legs. You may, in that transition, right, you may need to, it may feel good for you to rock your body a little bit to find that your backside settles in, and then you're centered and you can pull and get your best stretch. Now, pull leg number 1 back up. Stretch out leg number 2. You're going into your spine stretch. So opposite hand to the outside of that knee. Gently work it over. Take all the fight out of the down leg so that you're not resisting your rotation. This can be a really scary stretch because it's so intense. Sometimes when I'm stretching, I feel like, oh, if I could just get my adjustment like right there. And I never fight or try to make it happen, but that's a thought that crosses my mind. I have a couple of positions that I feel like my body needs an adjustment, but it just won't release enough. And I feel like I'm pretty flexible. I've got my other shoulder all the way on the floor. My knee is just shy of touching the floor. Ease out of it. Help the leg up. You're not going to immediately go to the other leg. Once you get to center, I want you to pick your head up. I want you to really try to get your shoulders feeling like they're centered. And then can you work your hands to that foot or some version of it, right? Even if it's not pretty, because the knee has to cooperate here. And now we're going to allow the foot to rest on the thigh. And maybe you only have your pinky toe. Maybe you can get hold of that entire foot and put it up on the crease line, right? Let the knee float away from you. You're not going to continue to hold your foot, so don't worry about that. When you let go of your foot, the leg is going to slide wherever it needs to slide, right? For me, mine went right to just above the kneecap. And when I go and I do my other leg, I'll have a very different leg position that pops off from this one. But that adductor line at that top of the hip on this bent leg, we're trying to open that up first before we do our little IT band stretch. So pick up your head, look at that leg, start raising the knee up. Let the hand come to the outside of that knee. Don't roll your hips, kitty wampus. Keep the hips flat and just even if this foot doesn't go to the floor, don't force it. It's more about you gently pulling your knee across the midline. So the court sports, right? So with running and repetitive movement, there are some, I don't want to call them injuries, but there's some overuse that happens. And this is one of those stretches that's really good if you're a runner, a cyclist, like anything that has this, even a long distance walker, right? Release and relax. Now going to leg number 2, raise your head, pull it all together, because for a moment you're just kind of wiggling in, feeling your back body get into its most right position. Grab hold of your foot if you can, right? Pull it up towards the hip crease and then let that knee flatten out. As soon as you let go of your foot, it's okay. Wherever it goes, just let it go. Relaxing the shoulders, trying to pull your shoulders out of your ears.
If you're really tight through the adductor, this will be a significant stretch. For me, I don't feel anything in that crease line, right? I feel like this is comfortable, just hanging out here. I don't have to contract my bun. The leg is just there. Okay, phase 2. I like to put eyes on the leg. Pick up the head. Believe it or not, all of you taking the head lifting and lowering, I consider that part of your neck strengthening, right? So don't always put a hand behind your head. Teach yourself to tuck your chin and roll the head up. It's only going to be there for a couple of seconds, right? Belly to spine. Slide the knee up, hand to the outside of the leg. If you can get the foot down and you feel like you want more stretch, then you can try to get the foot to the floor, but it doesn't have to go there for you to get your stretch. And then the head comes back down. This is a stretch that's not really in the bottom part of the bun. It should feel like it's along the outside edge. Like you could take your finger and kind of just pinpoint the spot that you feel it in, because it's not a radiating stretch. At least for me, it's not. And from all of the feedback I've gotten from people over the years, it's like one little spot that receives this stretch. And now as you release the leg, uncross, take your body, roll it to the side, help yourself up. So today, I'm going to get up with my legs going the other way, right? Are you going to go into downward dog? I'm going to get up like this. Do you need your hands? So if you're going to use the strength of your hips and the inner and outer thighs and the glutes, right? You can put hands down, but it's almost like telling your mind, muster up the energy to roll. There might be a sticking point. Squeeze, 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 squeeze the buns. Okay. Your front leg has to swivel. Trailing leg swivels. Press into the trailing leg. And here's your balance. Stiffen up the back foot. That's your push point. So many people try to get up without using the foot. That's your power right there. Push. Release and relax. You guys did a good job. I know you did a good job, even though I couldn't see you.